Welcome back to Muni Mayhem! I'm Fox, and that's right, another Muni Mayhem? Months after the show ended, what is going on here? Well, last week, Daron Nefcy hosted an AMA on Reddit, Ask Me Anything, and while a lot of questions were overlooked, we still got some pretty juicy answers on others, such as, will there be another season? Where's Seth of Septarsis? What was Toffee's deal? Marco's monster arm? And so much more. So as always, we're gonna run through these questions, break them down, and start a conversation. With all that said, let's dive in. So to kick this off, let's get right to the juicy bits. Why did they decide to make an open ending with the possibility of closing it with another story, and at the same time throwing away all the work or history that was behind? Is there anything planned to officially close the story? To which Nefcy replied, my goal was to create a satisfying ending that still left room for more. I feel like it's in the DNA of the universe to solve one problem but create another. That's Star Butterfly. I know it may not have been satisfying for everyone, but I hope it inspires a lot of fan fictions and drawings. I didn't want to solve everything and leave the fans nothing to play with. Plus, if I ever got to do more of Star, I want something to play with. And there's no conclusive ending planned at this time. So yes, Cleaved is the ending of a chapter for Star while starting a brand new one, a chapter that Daron Nefcy possibly wants to explore, given that Disney gives her a chance. It's apparent Star vs. the Forces of Evil is only over because Disney decided it was over. They accounted for the scenario where they would not receive any more episodes, and thus wrote Season 4 at a place where it could feel like a finite ending, but the Adventures of Star and Marco do not conclude here, which is kind of obvious as Earth and Mooney are cleaved together. That brings about a lot of change, likely positive and negative, and even if it does feel impossible, I really hope we'll get to see it someday. Alright, next question I want to focus on. Will Star join Ludo for a game of basketball? Are they friends now? To which Nefcy stated, oh, they are totally going to be playing basketball. I can't wait for the day that Ludo makes his first slam dunk. So yes, Star and Ludo are buddies. Although Star never really took Ludo seriously as a threat, it's great to see they have a better dynamic now. And Ludo did offer her to play a game of ball in the finale. Well, I wish we got more Ludo in Season 4. If we ever get a continuation, I really hope he has a bigger role to play, because it's what the boy deserves. Like many fans, Star and Marco's relationship was my biggest draw to the show, and I adored it throughout and thought the way it was resolved was one of the most sincere and powerful depictions of what love can be that I've seen in fiction in a while. But I'd still have loved to see them progress as a couple before the series ended, like the major couples in similar character-driven shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Parks and Recreation, or like many finally remember, Kim Possible. Were there any specific reasons you chose to keep them as friends or keep other relationships going until just before the very end, despite the clear depth of their mutual romantic feelings in the Season 3 finale? And if you were to get the opportunity to make more Star vs. Forces of Evil content, would developing the relationship further, while portrayed as a couple, still likely be one of the focuses? To which Nefcy said, I'm glad you enjoyed the Star and Marco storyline. It was important to me to treat them like real teenagers. As we all know, relationships are messy. One thing I personally don't like are storylines where characters' first relationships are also their last ones. The whole Prince Charming thing. That's a lie. That's just not life. They need to date other people and have other experiences. I'm not sure what Star and Marco's future looks like, but I know they are very much in love now. So there you have it. Star and Marco didn't end up together from the get-go because Nefcy wanted to see them date other people. Because that's reality. You may not end up with the first person you date. More than likely, you'll go through a few different relationships or flings before you find your happily ever after. While I wish Star and Marco did get together earlier in the season, I'm still content with the point it occurred. Next up, a question about Toffee. Did Toffee plan for Star to destroy magic after his death, or did he think he won until he got face blasted? To which Nefcy responded, he thought he won until he got face blasted. Ouch. So yes, through the power of literal pure magic, Star was able to completely topple Toffee. Although it makes me wonder, during Toffee's final moments, he did remark, you think you've won? Only I know how this all turns out. So was that just him being boastful? Trying to intimidate our cast into thinking, oh no, even if we kill him, he's still gonna have the upper hand somehow? Toffee's just kind of an enigma of his own, but I wish he did foresee Star destroying magic. It would have shown how much he truly left a mark on the series. What did you, Daron Nefcy, feel about the petition for Season 5? Nefcy answered this with, I think it's great. I hope someone pays attention. Yeah, really laying it on that she wants to do more Star. Hey Disney, take notes. You can still make money off this property. Please, someone tweet to them. Write letters if you have to. Next up, a question revolving around the status quo after the finale. Were all dimensions cleaved, or was it just Earth and Muni? Nefcy clarified, just Earth and Muni. So yes, Star, Marco, for now, they're still separated from Kelly. from Tad, from any of their friends who are from different dimensions. And it just leaves the series on a bittersweet ending, which isn't bad. That is reality, but I thought cartoons were supposed to make me happy, man. Moving on, was Starco something that was planned from the beginning, or did the fan reaction from the first season influence it all? And was the monster arm planned to come back? The season 1 finale kind of hinted it, but nothing came from it. Ooh. Nefcy answered, I did have Starco planned for some time. I know people got very into the shipping, which is cool, but I never intended for people to get so crazy. I wanted to treat them like real teenagers, and their relationships as teenagers would. 2, to be honest, we tried to write the Monster Arm Return episode many times, but we could never really get it to work. I believe it's still in Marco, and it still might emerge someday. Oh my god, Monster Arm got information! So yes, Marco's Monster Arm was a spell that transformed Marco's arm into a giant tentacle. It was a horrible influence on him, almost killed Jeremy, and as the spell was being undone, the Monster Arm alluded to the fact that it would return someday, that Marco can never get rid of him. The Monster Arm's return was foreshadowed throughout the series multiple times. And yeah, nothing came from it, but now we know they wanted to bring him back, they just didn't know how. Which makes me wonder how this scrap storyline would have played out. What were those scenarios they tried to write the Monster Arm back in? I've tried to draw my own conclusions on how they could have tackled this storyline, and I think looking back at the series, the best spot would have been in season 3 or season 4, with Eclipsa. The episode Curse with Blood one revealed that Marco was confiding his feelings for Star to Eclipsa for quite some time. They formed a bond. And while it was great to know that the world was still spinning off screen, an episode showing that bond form would have been great. Imagine a Marco and Eclipsa adventure. Much like how Eclipsa was encouraging Star to follow her dream portaling, imagine if Marco informed Eclipsa about all the magic shenanigans him and Star have been through, including the Monster Arm and how Marco fears it could return. To which Eclipsa encouraged him, why wait in fear? We can just try to bring him out, confront him once and for all, and then we'll figure out a way for you to just be rid of him forever. But of course this would have backfired. I don't know, I'm just saying. They could have done it. They could have done it. Next up, more post-finale questions. Did Tom lose his portal powers so he can't travel to the underworld? And the Ponyheads. Why don't they have real bodies? Where are theirs? Who is Queen Ponyhead? Nefcy stated, Tom can still travel. Magic might be gone, but he's still a demon, and that the Ponyheads evolved out of their bodies thousands of years ago through evolution because they didn't need them. Queen Ponyhead sadly passed away. So while those are disturbing and sad facts about the Ponyhead family, it's nice to know that because Tom's still a demon, he still has his demon underworld powers. Much like how the Ponyheads can still fly. It's just a natural evolution of each species. Now, a human at one point could have been able to learn Tom's abilities through magic, and they would have lost those powers because they are human. It's not a natural born ability to them like it is to a demon. So yeah, Tom powers, no magic. Human powers, magic. Don't think too hard about it. Next up, do you still have plans with Star vs. the Forces of Evil? I mean, there could be a possible movie or a book that shows us what happens after the end. And did you really plan for the series to last longer than you were allowed to? And oh boy, was this a meaty answer. I would love to. Keep asking for it and maybe one day it'll happen. Hate it? Keep saying it. But I can't just decide to do it. The studio needs to feel like the show is popular enough to warrant it, or even that there is a need to make it. And 2, this is a little bit complicated question. I was very lucky to get 4 seasons. For a variety of very boring reasons, most animated shows for kids only get about 2 or 3 seasons max, so I feel very lucky that I got to do 4 on Star. When our 4th season got approved, I knew that it would most likely be the end, just because of the rarity of having a 4th season. So I wrote an ending. I was happy with the ending. I know a lot of fans thought it was rushed, but I think it just means you want more. I would love to do more of Star someday. Obviously that decision is not one I can just make, but if the powers that be wanted to make more Star, I would love to work with them again. Disney, come on, she's pretty much begging. And I'm surprised Disney does not see how popular Star can be. During season 3, clips of Star were getting millions upon millions of views. It was kinda nuts. Listen, no tea, no shade, but the reason why Star declined in viewership and I guess popularity between season 3 and season 4, it wasn't because of the show itself. I'll just leave it at that. Next up, I think this is just a fascinating look into Daron Nefcy's history. Did your experiences in school affect how it was portrayed in the show? I know Marco was a successful student that ended up getting his GED. To which Nefcy said, yeah, I would say some of my high school experiences made it in. The GED one for sure. I actually didn't graduate high school. I was getting badly bullied, so I took the GED test and left left early. Best decision I ever made. Next up, another post-finale question. Are the Laser Puppies alive? To which Nefcy clarified, yes, they're just regular puppies now. Thank God, thank God, thank God, oh my God. Alright, so you're probably wondering, well, wait, they were made of magic. How are they still alive? And to give you guys an answer, we have to look at what happened to Omnitraxis and Romulus after they died with the destruction of magic. It's not like they just melted away completely, similar to the unicorns in the realm of magic. Instead, anything that their bodies were composed of that had non-magical counterparts remained after their death, such as Omnitraxis' skull, Romulus' crystal, and his snakes, which we saw were still sentient. So the snakes were able to endure, remain sentient, but lose their ability to speak. It's not far-fetched that the puppies would survive and just no longer be able to shoot off lasers. Makes sense in the context of what we saw on the show. Let's continue. Next up, rewinding back to Season 3. In the Season 3 finale Conquer, why did Meteora turn to a baby and lose her memories when hit by Black Velvet Inferno? The force of the attack and the moment after Eclipsa used the spell implied that the spell should have killed Meteora, to which Nefcy dove in and stated, Eclipsa wanted to give Meteora a second chance. For a moment, she didn't know the spell would work. It was a desperate spell that could have easily killed her, but the results were just what Eclipsa wanted. So yes, Eclipsa took a gamble on Meteora. We still don't know why Meteora regrets into a baby. I still think it's because all of the youth and soul she sucked up, and maybe Eclipsa recognized that, feeling in her gut that there was a small chance that Meteora could survive, and she was right. Or perhaps it was the will of Eclipsa, that as she was firing the spell, aiming to kill Meteora, she was also in her mind lamenting, man, I just want my baby back. And well, she got her baby back. Next up, what even is a Warnicorn? To which Nefcy clarified, it's a unicorn that needs the blood of its enemies to survive. Yikes. Alright, now we have some bigger questions revolving around Toffee and Seth. Number 1, how did Toffee know about the Whispering spell and its effects, considering not even Moon knew? She was desperate when Star performed in Battle of Muni, so I assume she thought it was just a self-destruction spell. He studied some books, but these things don't seem like the kind of stuff that would be in them, considering they weren't even in the Book of Spells. How was Toffee able to be in the realm of magic without losing his mind, and meanwhile corrupting the magic? Why did Toffee have skulls with cheek marks of Eclipsa on his shoulders during Battle for Muni? Was he the one who killed Solaria? Which were even the details of his plan, since they were never entirely clear. After that, why and how did the painting of Alphonse the Worthy, Eclipsa's father, talk to Marco in the Blood Moon Ball episode? And about the Blood Moon, was it originally designed as a blessing by you authors instead of a curse like it ended up being? And last but not least, what about Seth of Septarsis? Considering his role in the Book of Spells, literally everyone was expecting to see him in the last season. Alright, brace yourself for some of these answers. Toffee was a historian and researched the butterfly family like no one ever has before. He used his powers for evil. He's been learning about magic for a very long time. The skulls Toffee was wearing was butterfly family members of the royal court he killed. When it comes to the Blood Moon Ball, Alphonse communicated through Marco with magic, and Nefcy believes that the Blood Moons were for curse and the blessing. And last but not least, Seth has been dead for a long time. We only get so many episodes per season, so he'll just need to be in the book for now. So yeah, it just sounds like Seth is dead because the show is over, and if they get more, he will become undead, I guess? I don't know, multiple people in the Star crew were involved with this AMA. One of them being a former writer elaborated that Seth could be the antagonist for Season 5. I'm gonna do a separate video of those questions, but yikes. Seth deserved better, or just shouldn't have existed at all. Next up, is Doop Doop alive? Nefcy said, nope, nope. Wouldn't he just be a regular broom now? And there you have it, those are the more interesting questions. Again, a lot didn't get answered, like if Star committed mass genocide by destroying magic. But you know, this is a hero's gig. Part of the journey is the end. I don't know if that made sense in this context, I just wanted to quote Avengers Endgame. But I want to hear your thoughts on all this. What do you think? Are you satisfied, dissatisfied? Do you want to know more? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at OstrikVox. We're also on Instagram. Help Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. OstrikVox, signing out.